The following is rated F for fairness. Viewers' discretion is advised.
Welcome to the audio show.
Alright, so now that Amber's speech is completed, let's see exactly what Shayla has to say, which I don't think is going to be much. But you know what? Let's get into it. Let's go.
Turn. So is there anything that you want to talk about? Aiming at me or whatever about this podcast?
No, it's not even necessarily aiming at you, Wayne. To be completely honest, I've been really excited about this podcast. This is an opportunity of a lifetime for me. As you know, I don't usually work. Well, I work in other ways, and I'm a mother.
I'm glad she stated that she works in other ways. In other words, she doesn't work a normal job and she works where she works. In other words, what we've been saying is correct. She does her work the way she does her work. And so when we say these things, I hope people are not making it look as though we're saying something that is not basically true. But because it is true. She works in other ways, not in the regular ways that you'd think of. Not conventional.
I have a son, so I was really grateful when you set up this podcast. You put your hard-earned money behind it.
So,
But also, I think that you run this like a street business. What do they say in the corporate world? No fraternizing, no fraternization. I don't know if that's the correct way to say it.
Yeah.
But it's difficult. I want to come to the table. I want to work with y'all. I love most of you. But it's hard for me to come to work when you played in my friend's face and broke her heart. Well, two of my friends' faces and broke their heart, and now.
All right, so let me say this again, okay? Let me say this again. This is business. It is way too personal. You're going to have people in a workplace or in a work setting that has done things to you. And the notion is this: can you get past that and do the business that is at hand? If you can't, then it is within your best interest to quit. So what I think Shayla needs to do, just like I said to Honeypot Girl, if you can't manage a podcast, quit. Same thing for Amber. Since as you think it's so much of a burden, quit. Quit. But this whole thing of you guys thinking you're going to do something that you can't manage, it doesn't make any sense at all. Now, I don't know what else you're asking for. People are asking for these rosiness and you're not going to get that. That's not how it works.
You're with Lauren suddenly. It's difficult. And I know you said put your emotions aside, but we're human.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's business. So the question is, are you able to get over that for the sake of business? If you're not, then it means that you need to work in a different sector. One where this is not going to happen and it's not going to affect you. You'll have to know where your mental space lies. So either you know that or you don't know that. No, let's work at it. Let's work at it, really and truly. Right? Shayla has played in Amber's face, but you expect Amber to work with her nonetheless. Let's work at that. Let's start right there, so. Let's start right there. If we're going to talk about anything else at all, that's what we're going to start with. It doesn't matter what's happening in people's personal lives as long as they're not taking it in the business setting. And I feel like this was just a round table talk of women trying to share feelings. And ladies, I mean no disrespect when I say this, but it's business. Either you're going to come to the world of business to try to do business because you're competing against other people out there, or you're not. Or you're coming there for a fairy tale version of work, which basically is what was happening with these ladies. What these ladies are showing me is that they're privileged ladies who don't understand the world that they're coming into. That's what they're telling me.
So me knowing I am the person that told Honeypot, get out the bed. We got to go get our money. We got to move forward in life. We're getting on a world stage.
yeah. And I think you need to tell those stories on the podcast. That's what I'm saying. It's situations out there that are probably similar to this or not so similar. But the fact that you never got my point of view. You think I'm playing. I'm not playing. I like Lauren. I'm not going to lie. Playing in her face would be around and pretending like I don't like her. I'm just being honest. This is what it is, right? I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying that's the right thing to do. But at the end of the day, where you're coming from, this opportunity and this purpose, if we focus on that, I promise you this will get better. Right now, it's starting off street and rocky. I start off in the streets, but it's better to start off bad and end up good than start off good and end up bad.
Either you're there for business or you're not there for business, man. That's the point of the matter. I hear some of the speeches and I see where people's going, but it's starting to take this whole kumbaya feminine kind of turn. And ladies, while I understand and sure I'd like to consider some feelings in the realm of business, it doesn't matter. Because you will lose money if you go to business thinking, oh, I'm just going to, someone's going to eat your food. Let me just tell you this. If you go to business with this soft, hey, let me try to consider all things kind of thing, you're never going to get through. Because I know this works. And you will have people who will exploit that. So no, I hear people saying, but this is not like, look here, if y'all need some therapy, go to a therapist. But y'all are using the podcast for therapy. Tell you what, find a therapist on the channel, you know what I mean, and hire them and ask them to do therapy sessions with you. But this is not the place for therapy, and that's what I'm getting from a lot of the ladies. It's therapy sessions.
A lot more growth to go. We gonna be looking back at this one day and be like, man, we came so far. Nobody sit down and tell these talks like this. You know what they do? They sit down and have conversations behind each other's back. But one thing I like we did to this round table today, we came together. So at the end of the day, this is the Kountry Wayne podcast. And I want y'all to be the ones that women look at like them women came together through thick and thin and got real problems. Everything ain't peaches and cream over here. Definitely ain't peaches and cream. You know what I mean? You know what you did. And if we had to rank,
what I did.
Yeah, no, if we had to rank everybody, what everybody did, I don't think I'm at the top. Yeah, we know what you did. That man.
See, so now we're going to levels of pettiness. All I'm hearing on the podcast is a talk about pettiness. Maybe this is like a testing session for all of them as to, because that's what a podcast is about, by the way. Now, podcast is really and truly for y'all to talk about different things that you're talking about, different topics that you're going to talk about. So maybe you want to talk about friendship. Maybe you want to talk about other piece of the puzzle. Now, maybe you want to get into that. Look, I know, O'Neal is harsh. I get it. I'm talking from a man perspective, but I'm telling you again, ladies, come out on the feelings. If you're really coming to the world to make money, get out of your feelings. Get out of your feelings. You know what? Let me give you an example. I remember working in, like, my first time working in the business of social work. I'm going to give you an example. And saying I want to help everybody and I really want to help them. And oh my God, I just want to do the help and I want to do the work. And I remember having a particular client, after assisting the client to basically get off the streets, just tell me one day, well, hey, that's it. After all the work that I did, everything, after all that I did, the client mentioned that they want to go right back to the street again, give them a blanket because they're okay and everything is good. After we discussed. And I had to take that. And then I realized, O'Neal, it's not about you. You're here to do the business of social work. And the business of social work requires you to be helping regardless of what the next person does. And I realized how easily I could have been turned off and not help other people because of one circumstance. That's why it's business and not pleasure. So before y'all start the whole, well, O'Neal is a chauvinist and blah, 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 and whatever it is, stop. Because that's what business requires, friends. So no, this is a bunch of privileged women. Privileged black women at that too, because you can't imagine, you know what I mean? Privileged black women. Anywho, and a privileged man, because we're somewhat privileged basically at the end of the day too. Let's call it.
Life.
Wayne, don't try to flip it on us.
And
This
you-
is about you dating Honey Pot.
I brought you from
And me what?
I brought you from West Side Music Group. You should be like,
He didn't bring me.
I'm saying you really a part of the podcast that they're gonna really see you for real now. In Delicia.
And he's not lying. Nobody knew Honey Pot Girl before this. The fact of the matter is this at the end of the day. So Shayla's speech went nowhere as well. It just went to emotional. Either you're coming here to do business or you're not coming here to do business. If you're not, back off and go home because it's not your time. But give me a take. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Talk to y'all soon.